welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to be looking at a video from the Time magazine YouTube channel, specifically on Angel Island. So this is Immigrants of Angel Island, the history you did not learn. It's about 11 minutes, 35 seconds long. So, not too long. This is continuing our celebrating Asian History Month here in May. Yes, you were watching this in May. I'm filming this in the middle of January. And yes, I still have a fan on because it's still kind of getting warm in my house. But in this video, they look at how Angel Island differs from what most of us learn in school, which is Ellis Island. We learn the white stuff from, and yes, we'll be going into the histories next month. If you're watching this after this has been filmed, June, I have an entire thing on Ellis Island coming in next month. But we learned that history, which was vastly different, where most of the ancestors, mine included, who are coming in, who are from Europe, are not detained that long on Ellis Island. Unless they're sick or there's something really funky going on, they're there a maximum of maybe a week. And that's like unusual. Mostly they're there for a matter of hours. So Angel Island is very, very different because the goal on Ellis Island was to get people into the country. The goal on Angel Island was not to. They wanted to keep the Chinese out, as evidenced by the Chinese Exclusion Act. So this was a different thing. People were there. Weeks was the norm. A lot of people were there for months. I think the longest, I can't remember, there was this video or another one where they said the longest person who was there, who was eventually sent back, was there for like 2 years. And it was also very, very different. They were locked up in dormitories where they couldn't, the food sucked. There was not much to do. They were rarely let out. It was very much imprisoned. Men and women were separated. Specifically, you had men and boys from 12 and up went one way. Girls, women, and little boys 12 and under 12 went another way. So, and they were, the interrogation, as they called them, interviews, these were interrogations, were complex. We're talking telling the outline of your village and where this is and who lived where. This specifically came, as this video talks about, with you had the paper sons. And yes, this is very, very common. A lot of the books I covered this month have to do with paper sons and daughters. And what those were once they put the Chinese Exclusion Act into place, people you would pay, either a family member or a man or a stranger who was Chinese, who was a U.S. citizen, who was a naturalized citizen, not just someone who had become a citizen, but who was born in the United States, to serve as your relative, usually a parent. And you would have to memorize their village and where everything was. And if you got one answer wrong, you were out. So it was very, 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 very difficult. And this video talks about how hard it was to get in and how Angel Island was nearly forgotten about, even by the Chinese. And so it's an interesting video, similar to some of the other ones I've covered. It's great. You have, I think it starts off with talking about different professors. You have people of Asian descent who are talking about, our family came through here. We didn't realize this for the longest time. Because the records are now, they do exist, as opposed to Ellis Island, where I don't think the paper records still exist. They do have, most everything's been digitized. In Angel Island, for Angel Island, they are pretty much the files and all the records and stuff are at their The San Francisco brain must work. Tired mother of a very, very active 4-year-old here. Trying to think. Their records depository, which Department of Records, I believe, is where it's at. So you can actually go and see these things, and do some of the and do research into a lot of the questions that were asked and what was going on and how long people were detained and stuff. As a historian who's dived deep, who wants to dive deep into this, because this is really interesting history. I would love to go look at those if I ever have time, ever. But just because it's interesting. But that's really what this video talks about. It's very much an introduction, just because this isn't something people learn in schools. I mean, I've looked, obviously this is not foolproof, and it may have changed. People who lived in San Francisco, they knew Angel Island exists because it's a national park, but they had no idea about the history of the immigration station. And like I said in this video that I talk about, there are people whose families went through here who did not know this existed. And then it was later rescued because the administration building did burn down and everything, and they just moved their operations to the mainland. So it didn't become the landmark that Ellis Island is, because they didn't rebuild it, they just moved it somewhere else. And things changed by the 40s once we became allies with the Chinese during World War II. The Chinese Exclusion Act kind of went away. So, and things kind of changed. Not that we're not still racist. Oh, we're still racist. Obviously. Against everyone. Yes, the United States, the home of the brave, the land of the free. Oh dear God, are we ever racist? And xenophobic. And no, that has not changed. Please see crazy people with orange makeup talking about the China virus. That was fun. And I think they're still ranting and raving about that nonsense. So, xenophobia is still alive and well in this country, along with a heck of a lot of racism. And yeah, but still, this is an amazing history. This video is very good at giving kind of an introduction to this history that I would really recommend a lot of my homeschoolers. If you're watching this, hopefully you guys are going to deep dive. I'm a history nerd, and I learned about this last year when I was doing videos on Asian American History Month, and decided this year I'm going to do a deep dive into Angel Island rather than just general history, and it's really, really interesting. I cannot wait for my daughter, who by the time you see this will again still be 4, closing in on 5, but is old enough for us to go and for her to get something out of this. Because again, she's 4. She probably won't get anything out of this until she's at least 8 or 9. But I'm really interested in seeing this along with Alcatraz and, San Francisco in general. But nonetheless, that is it for this video. Be sure to check out the rest of my Angel Island videos, both the media stuff and the books. The books obviously go far more in depth, and they really are interesting. We'll see if I cover this topic again. It's likely. Next month, look forward to my deep dives into Ellis Island. So we will have more immigration stuff coming in next month, and then we have a bunch of other stuff. I'm working on the Boxcar Children book series. We're going into Wings of Fire book series. We're doing some cooking stuff, some Beauty and the Beast stuff, some bunch of other stuff. And be sure to check out the rest of the channel. And leave a positive comment if you have one. Thank you.